In the year 2000, more than a third of every new house built in America came with a basement. Today it's about 1 in 6. Over 25 years, a feature that used to be standard equipment quietly became an upgrade. Most buyers never get offered. The floor in a brand new subdivision in Texas, Arizona, or the Carolinas sits directly on the dirt, and the basement your parents took for granted is gone. The real question isn't why basements cost money, everybody knows that. It's what builders are buying when they delete one, and what you give up without being told there was a choice. The part that matters most isn't the cost. It's what happens in year 8. Start with the number. The National Association of Homebuilders tracks this through the Census Bureau's survey of construction, and the trend is one of the cleanest in housing data. Basements were on 36.8% of new homes in 2000. By 2023, that was under 17% and still sliding. Over the same window, slab-on-grade foundations, a single flat pour of concrete on compacted soil, climbed from 46% to 73%. It's a complete inversion of how America builds inside a single generation. But a national average hides the real story. This is not happening evenly. In New England, 2 out of 3 new homes still have a basement. The upper Midwest, the West-North Central region, it is well over 60%. And in the Mid-Atlantic, close to half. But go south and west, and the floor drops out. In the West, South Central region, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas, basements exist in barely 2% of new homes. 98% are slab. The Pacific region is around 90% slab. The South Atlantic is in the mid-80s. The basement did not die. It got cornered into the cold half of the country for a reason most people get backwards. Here's what surprised me. In the North, the basement is almost free. In a cold climate, code requires your foundation to reach below the frost line, the depth at which the ground freezes and heaves. In Minnesota or Vermont, that can be 4 feet down or more. You're already excavating deep and pouring deep walls whether you want to or not, so finishing that hole into a basement costs little more. The expensive part, the digging, is mandatory. You get 1,000 square feet of usable space for a marginal premium. But in Texas or Florida, the ground does not freeze, so code lets you pour a shallow slab near the surface. A basement means digging one from scratch in soil that is often clay or has a high water table, turning what would be a cheap foundation into an expensive one. The climate did not make basements optional down south. It made them a luxury. Now the money. On a typical 2,000 square foot home, a slab runs around $12,000 to $28,000. A full basement on that same house, $50,000 to over $100,000. So deleting the basement is not shaving a little. It is cutting tens of thousands of dollars off the house on every unit across a subdivision. When new construction shifted south and west toward Texas, Florida, Arizona, the Carolinas, it moved into the regions where a slab is cheapest and fastest. The basement did not lose an argument about quality. It lost an argument about a spreadsheet multiplied across hundreds of thousands of homes a year. But here is where I will be honest, because the angrier versions of this story leave it out. A slab is not a scam. Done right, it is a perfectly good foundation, and it solves problems a basement creates. A basement is a hole you're asking to stay dry for 50 years. It needs a sump pump and drainage, it floods, it grows mold, and a finished basement only appraises at maybe 70 to 85% of above grade space anyway. A slab has none of those moisture headaches. So if the story ended here, buyers in the South are getting a cheaper, drier, lower maintenance house. Except it doesn't end there. Everything you save on the way in, you can pay for later. When your house sits on a slab, your plumbing runs underneath it, buried in or below the concrete. So what happens when a pipe under that slab leaks? In a basement house, a plumber walks downstairs to the pipe. In a slab house, That pipe is encased in the foundation your whole home sits on. Plumbers call it a slab leak, and it's feared because it often runs undetected for months. You find it through a mysteriously high water bill, a warm floor, or running water with every tap off. And the fix is what it sounds like. They jackhammer through your finished floor and the concrete to reach the pipe, tunnel under the foundation, or abandon the line and reroute plumbing through your walls and ceilings. An easy leak might be a few $100s. A bad one, with flooring and concrete work, climbs into the thousands fast, and the slab itself is the obstacle the entire time. The basement house gives you access. The slab house buries the problem under the most permanent part of your home. And there is one more thing the slab quietly takes. A basement is a tornado shelter. In much of the country, that is a nice to have. But a chunk of this slab expansion is happening across the southern plains and southeast, regions with serious severe weather, and a slab home offers nowhere below grade to go. For a family in tornado country, the foundation that saved the builder $30,000 also removed the safest room in the house. That risk might be acceptable, even the right call. But it should be a choice you make with your eyes open, not one made for you on a spreadsheet you never saw. Number 3. Find out what's under your floor before you fall in love with the kitchen, because the foundation type shapes your repair costs and options as long as you own it, and it is the one thing you cannot change later. Number 2. If you're buying slab in hard water or shifting soil country, ask how the plumbing is run, whether any is accessible without breaking concrete, and budget for the reality that a slab leak someday is a when, not an if. And number 1, it sounds obvious until you realize almost nobody does it. In the North, where the deep foundation is dug regardless, the basement is the best square footage deal in the house, and skipping it to save up front is often the most expensive way to save money. The cheap space is the space you decline. You can't change the climate you're buying in, or the spreadsheet a builder runs before breaking ground, but you can refuse to be the last one in the transaction to understand what's under your floor, because a house isn't just the part you walk through on a Saturday tour. It's the part you can't see, the part you'll be standing on for 30 years, and the cheapest looking foundation is sometimes the one that costs you the most on the day something finally goes wrong beneath it.